Hello and welcome to Arm with Controllers. It's Fabs here, and today I'm going to be playing Sengoku Basara, Samurai Heroes. Marvellous little game this. Basically, if Capcom did Dynasty Warriors, then they did. So yeah, this an interesting game, loosely based on the Sengoku era of Japanese history. You'll learn a bit more about that as I play. So, I'm going to be playing as Date Masamune, One-Eyed Dragon of AwC. And I'm going to be showing Ishida Mitsunari what's for. So, as I just said, this game is very loosely based on the Sengoku era, in particular the events surrounding the Battle of Sekigahara, which is generally considered like the big turning point for the unification of Japan. It's probably equivalent to, say, Gettysburg in American history. So anyway, as I said, this is very loosely based on it, because what I'm doing at the moment does not take place in any kind of history, let alone the fact that Date Masamune here is wielding 6 swords at once. Yeah, this is not a sensible game, but that's particularly why I like it. There's a lot of focus here on getting big combos. As you can see, it's got a delightful grading system from the likes of which we've seen, like Devil May Cry and whatever. And yeah, so, Dynasty Warriors hack and slash style. So why am I playing as Date Masamune? I blame the anime personally, because yes, they did make an anime about this particular game series. It's probably worth noting this is the 3rd game in the series, but never mind. So yes, there was an anime, and the Date Masamune, he had one of the main characters, had a tendency to speak in brilliant English, to the point where, "Are you ready, guys? Put your guns on!" was one of the most famous quotations from the series. Now here's a weird thing. You kill one of the gate captains, they explode, which is brilliant because they give you a crap load of hits to your combos. And, as we can see here, higher combo you got, more money, which is fantastic. So, okay, you got the word Basara there, which is kind of weird. Basara is basically Japanese for stylish or awesome. And it makes sense that the highest combo ranking would in fact be to say, yeah, this is awesome. Okay, so, Date Masamune, in real life, no, he never did wield 6 swords at any one time. At least if he did, probably not in the middle of the fight. Okay, and here we have a demon horse! Yes! Bit of a callback to the 2nd game in this series, wherein this was the personal mount of Toyotomi Hideyoshi. Now you see, in history, Toyotomi Hideyoshi was a bit of a cheeky character. Granted, he was also the first person to unify Japan following the death of Oda Nobunaga. Of course, this game decided, no, let's make him an evil demon for fun. So, yeah, you can see how closely they follow history in this regard. So, Date just mentioned that he would love to have a ride like this. If you watch the anime, he does in fact have a horse. A horse that he rides like a motorcycle. A horse with exhausts. Again, not a sensible series. So much fun though, so much fun. So anyway, back to Date Masamune. Yes, in real life he did only have one eye, which is one of the things that's carried over to his presentation here. He lost it due to, I want to say, tuberculosis. And in fact ripped it out after hearing a member of his family claim that an enemy could use it against him. So that's just the kind of people we're dealing with in this era. You know, these are manly men who also had a tendency to drink a lot of tea, which is good, because more people need to drink tea. Okay, I've destroyed the death carriage. Get in. Now then, one common recurring element in this game, incense. For some reason, lots of these crazy Japanese general types, they fire incense at you, which makes everyone cough and die, as you're seeing here. So, it's up to our intrepid dragon here to knock out the incense canisters. So, you know, something other than, you know, hacking apart every person. You get to hack apart the scenery too. Okay. So yes, back to who Date Masamune was. So he was a famed daimyo, or general, ruler of sorts, warlord, that's the word, warlord. And he managed to unify the north part of Japan all on his lonesome. However, he had an issue in that he was living in the same time period as Tokugawa Ieyasu. For those of you who don't know, Tokugawa Ieyasu is the man who formally unified Japan and led to the Tokugawa shogunate that managed to basically stay in power up until the Meiji Restoration, which itself was only caused when Matthew Perry appeared and said, "Hey, trade with us or we're blowing you out of the sky." Not Matthew Perry from Friends, although that would be a really weird idea. But yeah, think about it, Chandler comes up and, "Hey Japan, could you be any more isolationist?" And then, he fires his gunboats at the poor Japanese people. Dark times. Dark times. So yes, Tokugawa Ieyasu, he was a big deal, and Date Masamune, he eventually realised this. He realised, this guy, he's gonna take over Japan. I might as well throw my lot under his. And he did. Of course, it's also worth noting that despite being his vassal, Date wasn't above, going behind his boss's back in certain ways. For example, Date Masamune was a Christian, Christianity having been introduced in that generation by the Saint Francis Xavier. And, of course, Ieyasu, he was not a big fan of the Christianity. He viewed any foreign intervention as bad for Japan, so he basically said, "If you're Christian, I'm going to crucify you." How's that for dramatic irony? So Date actually, he was very keen to encourage foreign trade and growth. He went on a diplomatic mission to see the Pope, which is pretty cool, and he even had a tendency to hide and protect Christians in his domains, which is really nice of him. Okay, so basically, Date Masamune, he was a pretty cool guy, and Japan recognises this because they do often use his image in various things. He's a playable character in this, he's one of the main characters in the Samurai Warriors franchise. In fact, in the region of Sendai, where Masamune ruled, they recently had a poster campaign encouraging people to vote, using his likeness from this game. That's the kind of, pop culture icon Date Masamune is. And just to, further throw this on the fire, we've got the Darth Vader's helmet was in fact based off of Date Masamune's helmet. Which is, really something, considering I guarantee most Western people don't even know what Date Masamune is. They'll probably see it and think, Date sword? Fascinating.
Look above.
Okay,
You may
and
glimpse
here
it
comes
approaching.
Otani,
You feel
I
it
can't remember his
coming,
second name.
don't you?
But yeah,
I can feel
I was reading
it
up
in
on this
my
fellow.
bones.
Poor guy.
Please,
Poor guy. I mean, look at him.
join
Here,
me as it rains
you look at
down
this and you're
upon
thinking,
us.
well, this guy is
shall
some
see who
kind of
is the
mummy.
first to be
You're not
blessed
in Egypt, my friend.
to suffer
Yeah,
eternally.
turns out he's dressed like this because he has leprosy. Yeah. But then again, if leprosy gives you the ability to float on a chair and throw balls at people, is it worth the trade-off? Probably not. Now, Yoshitsuge, whatever it is, this Otani fellow here, he best bros with Ishida Mitsunari, who is the boss of this stage.
And there is nothing that can change
They
your
fought together at
defeat.
Sekigahara, and their friendship is largely regarded as one of the big things of the era. There's possibly a apocryphal story that one time they were at a tea ceremony, Otani here, Ishida Mitsunari and some other generals, and poor old Otani, he takes a sip from his tea, and a load of pus from his leprous face falls in the tea. Now of course they have to continue the ceremony, so he passes it on to the guys around him, who one by one politely decline for not wanting to get leprosy reasons. Ishida Mitsunari? Nah, he gobs the whole thing down and says, yeah, it was pretty sweet. Now, whether that's a symbol of awesome friendship or just plain foolishness, I shall leave up to you. So yeah, back to the game, shall we? Enough of a history lesson. So, he keeps blocking me. That's not very helpful. It's really not very helpful. Here we go. So, there are a lot of gameplay elements here that are very similar to the Warriors franchise from Koei. So yes, we got their Basara art there, which is a Muso by any other name. Here. Being my bodyguard here, he's lent in a hand, which is good. So yeah, in terms of gameplay, this is ridiculously similar to the old hack and slash Dynasty Warriors titles. There are of course differences, things such as the super arts. In this case, with a single button you get to do something kind of awesome without any bar weakening or whatever. In this case it's Date pulling out all 6 swords. Alright, Ishida Mitsunari. Now, this guy was a bureaucrat. You know, I wish the bureaucrats in my country were a lot more like this guy.
Grant me permission to slaughter these foul
But
men.
yeah, this guy, bit mad in this game. Part of the historical revisionism going on here, I think. This guy was a boring bureaucrat. Let's make him awesome! Iaido style! Crazy swordsman! Yes! Perfect!
I told you once. I don't have a reason to kill you.
So yes, in history Ishida Mitsunari was fighting to continue the house of the Toyotomi, who was the son of the aforementioned guy who first unified Japan. Of course, Ieyasu Tokugawa, the aforementioned awesome guy, he basically recognised that the house of the Toyotomi was crumbling and functionally impotent, and saw it as a good opportunity to take over. So, Ishida Mitsunari here, he took it on himself to lead the Western forces, who were the Toyotomis, and thus one of the most famous battles in Japan was fought. So yeah, as you can see, they've tried to make it a bit more interesting, having just generic looking samurai one in this game, which is, you know, a sensible thing to do, I should say. Of course, in doing so, they've seemed to have given him crazy demon powers, which they did with Oda Nobunaga and Hideyoshi Toyotomi. How bizarre. So, good, I'm sure you will. You curious individual.
Rejoice! I will take my time with you.
Can a corpse really take its time with someone?
I have yet
Oh, Mitsunari, will you ever learn? Well, that wasn't too hard, was it? I should think not. So, what's Date Masamune up to now? Well, his eternal rival in this series, Sanada Yukimura, he's going to be doing some crazy stuff. And who knows, maybe we get to see it next time. So, I'm going to call this a night. So, game hard, my friends, and I'll see you next time for more samurai hack and slash action. Like and subscribe, and once again, game hard. Good night.